Hello everyone, this is once again the LEGO Creator 3-in-1 Horse Knight Castle set. I have covered the main build and one of the alternate builds, and this is the other alternate build that covers a jousting tournament. Out front you see the joust has already begun with the two brick-built horses that are highly controversial because a lot of people have complained very loudly that LEGO should have included their regular molded horses, even though this is a Creator 3-in-1 set where they always do brick-built animals so that you can do them differently between the different builds. It's absolutely the standard that this series uses. This series is all about the builds and interesting reuses of parts to do different things. And I personally really enjoy building up the different forms of barding between these and doing slightly different decorations on the horses. I think that this is a really good design. I love how the legs are done and the hooves. They look excellent. And I personally think that LEGO just did the right thing here, including those. I think they've used the parts very well. Anyone who wants molded horses can just buy them. They're on the market right now. I think that the fencing here, sorry, I'm not a medieval sports scholar. I don't know the proper term for this here, but it's a fence or a railing, a separation between the two contestants. And it's just kind of plain. I wish they extended out a little bit more, just had a little bit more base to it. Coming back to the structure, I really like how this part of this just small section of roof is attached. Because it's not attached, you put this in here diagonally, this little insert right here, and it creates that nice little intermediate peak. And then you just place this directly over it and it slips on perfectly, which is really cool. There's a little space to get some snacks. So you got a little table with some food there and some drink inside. I'm assuming this person would be manning this booth over here. Just a little bit of space to have people posed along the battlements if you want, kind of just standard there, better than some of the old original classic castles did as far as the amount of space that's available there. A little bit of nice thing done with the terrain around here, just shifting it up a little bit, not having everything being just completely rectangular and gray. And then a weapons rack over here. That's definitely an appropriate thing for this space. And this is built into modules once again, which become more useful if you buy multiple copies of the set. So you got a connection point right there, and you got a connection point on the other side. And they give you various options for how those can be put together. Again, it's mostly useful if you buy multiples of the set and you have more of the modules as such. Before I continue around the outside, just a little quick look at the battlements there, or around the back rather. Let's just go ahead and finish this section here. So this is two towers that are identical from the outside with a mezzanine in between, the little bridge with the awning overhead. You got the crossed swords here and the flags. It's all looking like an official event. And then inside you've got seating for two, so the king and the queen, and a little table off to the side. Unfortunately, it's a little bit awkward that it's just there's not the greatest visibility of those two. And now when I go ahead and turn this around, you can see how that works out. Like when I was putting the figures on there, it felt a little bit awkward just because they seemed like they were limited in the space that was available. More for us, for us humans, for us huge figures to put those in there. Over here, you have an armor stand, which only has the helmet on it. Only the helmet. Space to put a figure or two up there. Space to put a figure or two up there. You've got some treasure over here, treasure chest, or the treasure room, which just has some gems and doubloons inside of it. Scribe's desk over here with a blank sheet of paper, which is unusual. Usually there's a print that would be included with a set that has that sort of feature. And this is a single stable stall for one horse, just one, because this is going to be for the home team, right? For this one, the Blacktron horse here is the invader. Yeah, that's the bad guy because he's got black in his color scheme. So yeah, you've got just a space for the hometown hero's horse to be, or is the hometown hero the horse itself? Over here, small black shop or possibly furrier's shop. It's blacksmith shop, or furrier's, I would say. And then just a bed. And this just sticks out so much. It's awkward how much that sticks out. I do wish that the sides had been brought in, even just from one side, just a little bit more, so that and that there were not so exposed. Yeah, depth is definitely lacking here. And as I zoom out, you can see that even more. It's not quite a facade because you can put figures and interact figures in these spaces, but it's close to it. It's, again, better, ironically better than some old classic castle things were, which that's kind of the theme for me, is that this is very, very much like classic, old castle, like from the original run of gray castles, just better with more colors, more interesting build techniques. No waste of parts. It doesn't build unnecessarily huge with really, really tall individual floors or anything. I think it's still just very, very charming. I think they've got a really, really nice system here. I personally like this size and this more minifig and play focus as opposed to the Lion Knight's Castle. I know a lot of people like the Lion Knight's Castle because it's huge and it has a ton of parts and it's really expensive. But I appreciate something like this. I feel like this is more to Lego's style. I've already shown the figures twice now. I've spent a good amount of time on them in the original main review, but I just wanted to quickly show you some of the slight changes of orientation of the individual parts. And you just popping and swapping between different ones, which this one's very close to the main build, whereas the other build that I did that was kind of the market square switched things around even more. Again, I personally do like this set quite a bit. I like its scale. I like its level of detail without going too far with it. Not the amount of detail, not the fact that it has a certain amount of detail, but the fact that it doesn't have too much, but it does have some. It just feels just so Lego to me. And like just a very, very good follow-up to some very, very good times in the past. Obviously, prices are ridiculous. They've always been ridiculous. If you actually look at the facts throughout history, they're feeling worse now than they have in the past. I'd say probably 5 years or so, because things had gotten much more cheap, much more affordable from Lego, and now we've lost some of that for various reasons. Part of that is inflation. Part of it is other global political factors and such, and part of it is just greed. The company is still making $2 billion net profit per year. But at least this product, I personally think, is good. So I'm happy with it. And I think that with a discount, later on in its life, or if you're super, super lucky and you live in a region where somehow you get discounts, like huge discounts on day one on every single Lego set, good for you. You're able to get a much, much, much better deal, and that's fantastic. But for everybody else in the world, a little bit of patience is probably called for here to bring this down to a slightly less unreasonable price. But yep, that's about it for my thoughts. Again, this was my last look at one of these builds. I already covered the main build and the other kind of market square that folds up into a nice literal little square. So I am done with this set officially. Hope that you've enjoyed my looks at all three of these builds. Thank you for your support of the channel, and I'll keep working for you. Bye for now.